Hello and welcome to the second video in our sustainability series. We're just going to do the same thing we did last week and keep moving through the house. We're still in the kitchen though, so I'm going to grab more items from the kitchen and we'll go from there. Not intentional, but I ended up grabbing pretty much everything that relates to food storage. And for one, food storage is incredibly important because food waste is a huge growing issue as far as our climate crisis goes. So I'm not going to get into food waste too much now because that is probably going to be a whole video by itself in the future. But along with that is using food storage supplies that are also sustainable. So I really like these stasher bags. And there are different brands too. I just particularly like the stasher bags because they have a whole chain of production that is done ethically and sustainably. It doesn't exploit people. And one way that I feel comfortable knowing that and buying that is that you can buy these on Earth Hero. And Earth Hero is like a whole online marketplace basically where they vet every like product or company or whatever that they bring onto their website, and ensuring that it is ethical the whole way through. It is sourced with sustainable materials, renewable materials. Children or people aren't being exploited. Animals aren't being exploited to make the production or to make the product. So that is why I particularly like stasher bags, is that I feel comfortable and safe buying this brand. But they also work amazing. Like you can see, I have cheese in them right now. I couldn't find any that didn't have anything in them because I like using them so much. And these are really awesome too because you can put them in the dishwasher if you want, where some of the other ones I've seen aren't actually made of this like silicone material. They're actually still made of plastic, which I don't like to have plastic in my house as much as I can help it, and I certainly don't like to put plastic through the dishwasher, so that's why I like these. Moving on, all of my like wax wraps, some of them are made from beeswax, some of them are not. Like this one's entirely vegan. Again, I personally think beeswax is okay, and as far as obtaining wax goes for candles or other products, I think beeswax is better, even though it comes from animals. I know people don't like that. It has actually, in my opinion, again, probably a future video, won't get into it too much, but better for the environment, all of its surroundings, to buy beeswax instead of some of the vegan alternatives. But these ones are made of beeswax. This one is not, but they all work really well. I like them all. I have the ones for like different sizes. This size, I will say, is a little bit weird. I don't use this size quite as much, but this one you can see I've used quite a bit. And then this one is cool because you can actually kind of like tie it up and wrap it, and it's cute and pretty. But moving on to food huggers. And again, I know people have mixed opinions on the food huggers, and I can see why, because they are a little bit specific. Some of them get very specific. Like there's one that's shaped like an avocado, so you like literally can only use that for an avocado. So I can see why some people might think that's a little bit wasteful because you're producing an item that has like a very specific single use in a way. So that I can see, and I'll admit some of these larger ones I actually haven't used that much, but the littler sizes I have used a ton. I'll use them for like cucumbers especially. I feel like cucumbers are one of the weirdest things to store. It feels wasteful to like put it in a whole bag or wrap it up with a whole thing, but this I can just like stick on the end of it. But I also can use it for my cat's cans of food. I use it for like even drinks. If I open a can of something that's carbonated and I want to try and keep it in the fridge, these actually work very well for that. So I do like them, but would I recommend you go out and buy ones that are shaped like an avocado? No, I wouldn't, because I do think that maybe that one is a little bit silly. But again, the most sustainable thing is going to be the thing that you use. So if you eat avocados every freaking day and you like need to be wrapping them all the time, yeah, using one of these is going to be way more sustainable than like wrapping it in plastic wrap or something, although you might be able to just put it in a stasher bag. I don't know, up to you. So I know that that's 3 items, and we said that would be our special algorithm is 3 items. But with all of that being food storage related, and I brought up the food waste and all of that, I did just want to show you my compost bin, which is nothing special, but it made more sense to show it now than later. And like I said, I probably will do a whole composting video in the future, but just wanted to bring this up now. This is just the compost bucket that I bought, and this is what I use. It just stays in the kitchen. I fill it up and I bring it outside and I dump it in a hole in the ground, and I throw other stuff on top of it. I stir it up, and I can't recommend composting enough. It's honestly pretty easy. I know some situations do make it hard, like depending on where you live, and there are some really great other videos on YouTube that I've seen other YouTubers do about composting, like if you live in the city or you live in an apartment and stuff like that. If I ever do a composting video, which I plan to do, I probably won't talk about that stuff because that's just not my experience. I have no idea how you would compost in the city. I feel very fortunate to have land outside that is mine that I can do stuff with. So that's how I do it. I understand not everybody has that capability. So for me, I say it's really easy, but it might not be, I guess, for everybody. But I think it's really important, and I just really want to spread awareness about it. I keep saying that it's like the new recycling. I feel like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, recycling was just blew up almost, became really trendy and popular, and like I don't know, see memes about it and stuff. So I don't know, I keep jokingly telling all my friends like compost is the new recycling, like hashtag compost is the new recycling. So I'm going to keep spreading that message and encourage people to compost. I hope that you will try it, at least give it a shot. But yeah, let's think about what we're going to do for our weird little action today, because I actually didn't plan that one. So just sticking with the unintentional theme of food storage and food waste for this video, I thought of what our action could be for today. It's not super weird or anything, but it's just something that I do that I wanted to share, and that is just saving any scrap food when I'm like prepping dinner or something that could be used for something else. So although I do compost and I feel better about throwing food into a compost rather than the trash, I still try to use the compost as like a last resort. If there's something else that I can do with the food scraps first, I would rather do that. So for example, if like any sort of bread we have is getting low, obviously if it goes moldy, I'll compost it. But if it's just kind of getting old, maybe it's like a little stale, I'll turn that into croutons before I get rid of it. And the other thing is chopping things like onions or peppers, garlic ends, carrot ends. I think those are the big ones. I will save anything instead of throwing it away and put it in a bag in the freezer, and then once I get enough of it, I will just add some water, boil it down. I usually just make a soup with it like then that day or the next day. I know some people will like do that and then store it as like a stock in the freezer or something like that. I will say I don't often have enough of it. With it just being me and my husband here, it takes a decent amount of time to fill up enough in the freezer where it's like worth it to then make a broth or make a stock. And it doesn't make that much of it, so it just feels not worth it to like package it up and store it into the freezer for any extended period of time when it's really only enough to make like one soup anyway. So I'll usually just make the soup right then and there. But yeah, I feel way better about that, at least getting another use out of the food that so much energy went into growing. I like doing that instead of throwing it away. And then depending on what is in the stock remains after it's been boiled and, you know, concentrated down, I will just put that into the compost, unless there's like meat, or sometimes I'll put like a rotisserie chicken carcass in there too. In that case, I won't compost it because I don't compost meat products. But yeah, I think that is all for today. Again, hope you learned something new. I hope you go and start composting And until the next one, goodbye.